Jiccoda L1 laser. Got it sitting on the table here. We've got the air assist kit here. Jiccoda. Yeah, says so on it. This is made for several different types of lasers, and they did supply this to me to demonstrate on their laser. However, because this is so new, this is not a direct just bolt-on thing here without making some modifications. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and as I mentioned at the beginning here, we have an air assist kit that I'm going to put on this Jiccoda 10 watt laser right here, and it's been used quite a bit, so yes, the shield's dirty, but I'll be taking that off to modify it, so we'll be cleaning that up. So what's in this air assist kit? Well, you get some tubing, silicone tubing, you get a power adapter. I haven't plugged this in yet. Power adapter here, it's a wall wart style. I hate these, but they work. And then we have the air pump, air output, 12 volt DC input, variable output here, and this one has a switch on it. A lot of them don't have switches, so that's kind of a good thing there. This is quite light. I don't know how loud this will be. We'll find out here soon. Then you get a bracket and some adapters here. This is the the air assist nozzle that I'm going to be putting on this head, but this shield is going to require some modifications to do it, and we'll go through that in detail here in a minute. And you get some air fittings, and you get a little nozzle in here which would fit in this. Actually, this is kind of a universal kit. Then this bracket would clamp around your laser module, snap on, clamp on. However, it won't work on this because this is bigger, and obviously that's not going to work. But I didn't want to do it that way anyway. I wanted to have the nozzle right on the lens. So this is going to take a little bit of disassembly, some modifications of this shield. I'm going to bring you in close and we're going to go through it. Okay, here is the air assist nozzle. That is a set screw there. Some people call it a grub screw. That gets attached to the lens, and this goes out to the side and goes up the side of the module. However, on this one, there is no provision for that, and this is your focus adjustment. So I don't want to get into doing anything on this side, so I'm going to be mounting it with the exit coming out that side, like so. And then I'll run the line up the side. I'll figure out how to attach it there. So one of the first things I'm going to need to do here is remove the shield. It's 2.5 M&Ms if you're kind of keeping score there. So I'll remove the shield. It needs to clean it anyway. I've done quite a bit of testing with this laser. So there's 4 screws in there to take out. Okay, now if you're doing this yourself, make sure you keep track of which screws go where. 2 of the screws are longer than the other 2. Which side goes to the front of the laser here. So the 2 longer screws mount to the front, the 2 shorter screws in the back, so kind of keep track of that. Of course, like I said, I'm going to need to clean this, but we're going to be doing some modifying to it. So, just because you put air assist on doesn't mean that you don't ever have to clean your laser lens. So I'm going to have to be able to do this so that I can easily remove that shield, then take the air nozzle off, air assist nozzle off to be able to clean that lens. So now that I have this all apart, and before I put this on, I'm going to clean this lens. To do that, I use alcohol and a microfiber cloth. What I'm using here for a cloth, this is meant to clean camera lenses, and that's what I use it for, or this type of cloth for. I've got these little pump dispensers. You can get them at Dollar Tree, and I keep isopropyl alcohol in there. So I just take a few pumps here and get a little alcohol on there. Then I can clean my lens here. You can also unscrew this brass here if you need to really get down in there. But this should do an adequate job. And I'll just get everything cleaned up there, and we'll let that dry. This does come out of the housing, by the way. Just, oops, after you get the shield off, this just slips out. Makes it a little bit easier to work with. But don't leave that off because you'll leave your fan exposed on the end here. Cleaning the shield, I'm just using the same isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol as it's called. Don't use your good tequila for this. And clean the shield up here. You don't use anything like acetone or xylol or something like that, because you could damage the acrylic. If nothing else, you'll cloud it up real bad. So stay away from mineral spirits and that kind of stuff, just alcohol. Denatured alcohol would also work. Okay, so we got that cleaned up. Next, I'm going to get my bearings here on what I'm doing. So I'm going to slip this back into the housing so I can get an idea here. Of course, this goes on like this. So here's the air assist nozzle, and I've got this sitting upside down here, and I'm going to be placing it so that it exits like this. So you'll see I'm going to have to cut a notch in the shield here. Well, I'm also going to have to modify the interior of the shield here, because this will not fit with this portion of the shield in the way. So I need to trim that out of the way, and I'm going to have to trim part of this little air chute out of the way. And to do that, a couple different ways to do it. I could use a hot soldering iron, which is what I'm going to do, or I could use a Dremel. And I don't want to take my Dremel off the table right now, so I'm going to use the hot soldering iron method. Soldering iron is heating up. I'm going to get my, actually it stands up better with that in the housing. I get my air assist nozzle mounted on here. Need to back that screw out just a little bit. So it slips on there. I'll get it so it comes out the side. The same side is where the PWM cable plugs in. And don't go crazy tightening that up. You could strip something or break something. You want it a little bit snug, but don't be a gorilla. So now I need to figure out a couple things. I want to be able to take this on and off from the bottom. So my slot is going to need to be up here to go around this portion. To get that, I need to get a height. And I need to get a Sharpie. So what I'm going to do here is hold this over the top where it goes and kind of get a line of where my notch is going to need to be. Let's kind of get a visual there. Make a couple marks on the side where I need to go around that nozzle. Now for depth, I'm just going to kind of get an idea here and eyeball this, because I can always modify it if I need to. So I'm going to be taking the hot soldering iron and melting the acrylic out in that shape. Okay, so here I did a little trimming and everything again here to do a little bit at a time. Now this fits perfect. All the holes line up. I've got plenty of clearance here around everything. As you can see, you need to trim this little part of the chute up a little bit right here. And you need to trim off a little bit in the front, and of course make the slot in the side. So now I can put my screws back in the shield. Again, the long ones go towards the front and the short ones to the back. Now don't over tighten these screws here on this shield or you're liable to crack it. You just want them snug. I mean, there's no load bearing here or anything. There's a modification. Yes, it looks a little gnarly, but it's going to work. And here's where our hose exit is. I'll get this mounted back on the laser. We'll figure out how we're going to route this air hose. Okay, I've got it hooked up to the air pump here. Let's see how loud this is. Well, that's not too bad. I've had some that were a lot louder than that. And well, we got a good stream of air coming out of there. Yeah, we need to do a little testing now. Yeah, before we do any cutting, I want to put my honeycomb board underneath it. Get that placed in there. I already had this. This is by no means new. So I need to get my laser head raised up. I'll find a scrap of something and we'll try a couple little cuts. Okay, I'll get a scrap of something here and we'll try a couple cuts. Okay, I got a little scrap here from another project and need to focus this next. So put my little kickstand guy down here, lower my head down to it, get my focus set. Well, piece a little warped, but we'll get by with it. Get the computer booted up and we'll cut something out. Okay, got the laser homing here, got it home, got the laser on, and by the way, if you turn your laser on and it doesn't work, make sure it's plugged in because I just went through that. So I got my air assist turned on. So I'm going to cut out just a little seahorse, a little quick cut here. Time to cut that is 1 minute and 6 seconds. This is 2mm plywood. My setting here is 300 millimeters per minute, 90% power, 1 pass. So we'll frame this first and start. So there's our seahorse. As you can see, there's absolutely no scorching on the top. And of course the back, there was some other designs on the back of this, but there would be no scorching on the back of that either. So there it is. Air assist is on it. It works. The pump is not obnoxiously loud. It does make some noise. It doesn't walk all over the table because I have one pump that did that and I actually had to set it in a box to keep it from walking itself off the table. And it was loud. Needless to say, I don't use that one much. Here's our cutout, our little silhouette there. And when you're using air assist, it would greatly reduce, and in most cases like here, eliminate any scorching on the top. When you're using a honeycomb board underneath, that will pretty much eliminate all the scorching on the bottom. Whereas if you just have like an aluminum or stainless steel sheet of metal down there, and you do your cutout, you'll have a line all the way around the back side of your cutout. Now here there's some stuff on the back because this is a scrap and I was doing some test engraves on the other side of it, but it works. Of course the honeycomb board, I already had that. I've had that for quite a while. It's had a lot of use. It's also from Jiccoda. It's a good product, and I'll put a link to that in the description if you'd like to get one of those honeycomb boards. Of course there'll be a link in the description for the laser, of course, and the air assist kit. And if you would like more information on the risers or the layout grid I have on this board or the mounting feet or how that was done, at the end of the video here there'll be a little link on the end screen where you can go to that and check that out. So air assist is on. Got anything out of this? Appreciate getting a thumbs up. Yes, it was a little fiddly. Had to do some modifications there. I'm sure in the future here they'll have a upgraded shield to go with their air assist kit, but this is all like brand new, you know, gotta work bugs out, that kind of stuff. So I'm Roger in the shop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.